The statistics that you just saw were pretty compelling. What is in our future? Well, today is a historic day, certainly with President Obama's inauguration. I might add that we're going to have a feed in this room. We're going to start at around 10 to 12. We're going to witness together history with the inauguration of our 44th president. So please, I encourage you to stay after the annual business meeting and witness that. Thanks to staff for putting that together as well. We have this capability now. Telemedicine. President Obama's goal is to make healthcare more affordable through digital records, through telemedicine. And you know, going down the highway, there's an application emerging called Intelligent Transport Systems. Easy Pass, boom, you're through. There's Amber Alert, of course. The infrastructure's in place for that. Digital signage letting you know. We stay connected constantly. GPS on our phones. So many different technologies, only the beginning for the RCDD to design and build. Broadband connectivity is a major initiative which we're about to undertake. The halls of Congress, they're talking about ways to get connectivity out to rural America. All over the world, they're having the same conversations. As we stay connected with our first responders as well, the spectrum is changing. They're allocating more spectrum to first responders, auctioning off spectrum as well for other applications that are emerging. So these are some of our future killer apps which we have to embrace. The RCDD is responsible for understanding all these technologies, from the traditional commercial building to the customer-owned and utility-owned and government-owned outside plant. Wide area network, personal area network, local area network, it's all under the RCDD's purview. Broadband, in a word, broadband, but in a word, data. It's all about data. So I want you to think about getting your credentials. I want you to commit to it. Our Next Gen program is going to offer you credentials which are much more accessible. It's all about the data. Social networking, busy slide. Over 100 social networks being developed. The new applications for social networking are going to be keeping us in touch. The region directors are using LinkedIn. LinkedIn has 30 million subscribers already. We're creating LinkedIn groups at BICSI for you to opt into, to network, just like you did when you started, by reaching back and introducing yourself to the person behind you. The future has it that you'll be able to reach forward to so many others and introduce yourself, your opportunity, your career, your company. The region directors will be doing this, inviting you to different events, breakfast clubs, region meetings, and different events. We're going to be partnering with NBFAA and their chapter infrastructure, their chapter organization structure, and asking them to come in. We're also talking with CSI. What are we talking about? We're talking about becoming the preeminent source of information representing Division 27. Those conversations are going very well. The RCDD will be promoted in the construction industry as the preeminent source of information. Our legacy-based systems kind of look like this. Everyone's familiar with it. I talked about it, 80s and 90s. Everything was separate. Now we're kind of in a world where we're in VoIP, one Cat 6, everything's integrated. We see video surveillance and access control coming into our world. And sure enough, as I speak, we're taking on county contracts at my company, and we're doing IP-based access control systems. Amazing technology. IP CCTV as well for schools, taking on school contracts. Amazing security for our children. But this is the real world. This is our silver lining. This is where we're going. Everything is going to be data. Reliable, dependable information transport in the entire OSI model. The RCDD we celebrate today is not the RCDD in our future. It's up to our leadership in the future, both today and in the future, to steer the ship to the future RCDD. Many more disciplines, just like back in the early 80s, the RCDD will be responsible for. I want to share a story with you about failure. Back in 1986, I mentioned I was so anxious. Jeannie Hand said, no, you got to be a member first. I sent in my application. I knew it all. I was like Trojan computers. I knew it. I understood the exam was tough. Went and sat for it, studied a little bit. Didn't have a TDMM, and failed. So, okay. And I'll never forget the day I had my next exam scheduled right away, and I had a job to do, a cutover. The company was small. I was out till 3 in the morning doing a PBX, a switch cutover. I rolled in a New Jersey Bell. Bob Jensen was the proctor at the time, and took the test, felt good about it. I failed. Jeannie wrote me a letter, said, you didn't do too well on the open header trench duct, that kind of, I never worked in cellular floors, so I didn't know what they were talking about. I had the TDMM at the time, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take this serious. I'm gonna go down to Tampa, and I'm gonna take a DD 102. I'm gonna study that TDMM. By God, I'm gonna pass that exam because I want that credential. I wanna be competent and confident going into those accounts that I know what I'm talking about. I want people to rely on me. And I'll never forget, I went down to Tampa, and we were at the Holiday Inn, I think it was, and we went across the street to school, and we all assembled in the hall, and sat down, took the exam, and the deal was back then, in '87, that when you went to the General Assembly, we used to celebrate the RCDD by calling out your name if you were a successful candidate. Remember that, Jeannie? And man, I was tense. And I heard my name. I was so proud to stand up and celebrate. But then I realized that my colleagues whose names weren't called were somewhat embarrassed. We stopped that practice shortly thereafter, but nonetheless, that moment was I just remember feeling it. So for all of you RCDDs, it is a challenge. But you're not a failure if you try and try and try. I know RCDDs have tried 7 times. Keep at it. Variety of ways, different study. BICSI Connect, e-learning. We understand much more about helping you succeed. That's what we're here for. That's what the board is here for. That's what staff is here for. You will succeed. Keep trying at it. There's other credentials available too. I want to talk a little bit about this topic I wrote about, ITS versus energy. And one of the things that comes up constantly is, what's the voltage? What voltage is it? In the National Electrical Code, in some standards that we talk about, it's the voltage. And I propose that it's not about the voltage. It's not about energy, for that matter. Energy, it takes the shape of water, power, light, HVAC. Energy moving in and out of buildings. That's very, very much well understood in the MEP, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing world, if you will. But our world, the T world, the MEPT, the telecommunications world, it's about information. And information that is reliably, dependably designed and built throughout the entire transport system so that we as designers and we as craft who install the infrastructure can do it right the first time. From back when we started to now, the standards and the installation practices have changed significantly because of our excellent master instructors, our authorized training facilities. We are the preeminent source of this type of knowledge. It's not about energy, moving energy in a building. It's about moving information, and not in one building, but across an entire world. That's our new silver lining. Our new silver lining in many different applications coming together. That's what we need to focus on in our future. So, in summary, The silver lining for us that we celebrate today, we go forward with looking for new opportunity. We celebrate our history and heritage, and we know by honoring our past, we can move together in our future. This is truly a historic time of change. And I'm glad to be the leader. I'm honored to be your leader, working hard. Today is the first of hopefully more presidential keynote addresses. Thank you.